I thought the worst part about being a substitute teacher would be the difficult kids. Boy, was I wrong about everything. Last week I got assigned to cover Mrs. Davidson's 4th grade class at Lincoln Elementary. She'd been out for months and nobody would tell me why. The principal just handed me the keys and said good luck with this weird look in his eyes. Walking into that classroom felt different immediately. The walls were covered in handwritten thank you cards, not the usual store-bought decorations. There were plants everywhere, thriving, despite no teacher being there for weeks. Even the desks were arranged in a perfect circle instead of rows. The kids were angels though, too well behaved actually. They'd whisper, "Be extra good for the sub," and share supplies without being asked. When I dropped my pencil, 3 kids jumped up to help. When the projector wouldn't work, a girl named Emma quietly fixed it herself. "Mrs. Davidson taught us how," she explained simply. During morning reading time, I noticed they had a system. Stronger readers paired with struggling ones, rotating partners so nobody felt singled out. They'd created this entirely on their own. At lunch, I spotted something that made me pause. One kid, Tommy, wasn't eating. When I asked why, he mumbled something about forgetting his lunch money again. His face was red with embarrassment. Before I could respond, 3 other kids immediately started breaking their sandwiches in half, sliding pieces onto his desk. A girl named Sarah pulled out an extra apple from her bag. "We always share with Tommy," she explained matter-of-factly. "Mrs. Davidson taught us that nobody goes hungry in our classroom." I watched this 9-year-old girl hand over half her meal like it was the most natural thing in the world. These weren't just good kids. They'd been shaped by someone special. That afternoon, while organizing papers, I found a note taped inside the desk drawer. Written in careful handwriting, "Emergency contact for Tommy Wilson. Call if he seems hungry or upset. His mom is working 3 jobs right now." Curious, I kept looking. There were 23 more notes, each one about a different kid's situation. Emma's parents are divorcing. She may seem distracted. Michael has ADHD but responds well to gentle redirection. Sarah's grandmother has dementia. Some days are harder than others. Detailed instructions on who needed extra patience, who forgot lunch regularly, who struggled with reading but was too proud to ask for help. This teacher knew everything about these kids' lives. Then I found the folder tucked behind some textbooks, photos, hundreds of them. Every single student at their birthday parties, award ceremonies, soccer games, dance recitals, Mrs. Davidson had been to all of them. There were ticket stubs from school plays, copies of report cards with encouraging notes, even drawings the kids had made for her over the years. One photo stopped me cold. The whole class at a pizza party crowded around Mrs. Davidson, who was wearing a colorful headscarf. She looked thin, but she was beaming. The date on the back was from 2 months ago. The principal walked in as I was staring at that photo. "She's been battling cancer," he said quietly, noticing what I was holding. "Stage 4. Started treatment right after school began, but she keeps calling to ask about her kids." My throat tightened. "They don't know. We told them she was sick, but not how serious. She didn't want them to worry." He sat down heavily in one of the tiny chairs. "She's been teaching here for 15 years. These kids are her whole world." He handed me an envelope I hadn't noticed before, hidden in the bottom drawer. Inside was $200 in cash and another note, "For Tommy's lunches and anyone else who needs it. I know substitutes don't make enough to cover this, but these kids don't deserve to go hungry. Please use my emergency fund." I had to step outside for a moment to compose myself. The next day I brought homemade cookies for everyone, using my own money to restock their classroom snacks. The kids' faces lit up like I'd given them gold. During story time, Tommy raised his small hand and asked the question that broke my heart. "Are you going to stay and be our teacher like Mrs. Davidson? We really miss her." 23 pairs of hopeful eyes looked at me, waiting for an answer. I'd already called the principal that morning to ask about permanent positions. Now I'm Mrs. Davidson's official replacement.